Pledge of Allegiance first, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Reverend Wilkie.
Let's pray. Father, we just thank you for this day. We thank you for this time that we can gather together and do the business of running the village. We thank you for the trustees and for the mayor and their devotion and work toward the village. We pray for wisdom and discernment. And we pray, Father, a blessing on them as they go about the business of the village. We pray, Father, that all work is done to the good of the majority. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Just me, or is it? Well,
You got a short one?
okay. You gave me that chair, right? You switched it. Good evening, everyone. We'll get started. A little wet out there today. Just a little. Okay, the first thing we're going to do, we're going to start with public input. If there's anyone here that would like to say anything or bring anything up to the board, would you please raise your hands, give your name, and we'll give you a few minutes to talk. I guess not, okay. Number 2 would be public abstracts, our abstracts payments. Everyone's had a chance to take a look at them. There's no questions, I need a motion.
Approve them as presented.
I need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Number 3. Superintendent of Public Works, Butch Smith. This thing.
Hi, Butch.
Hi, how are you?
Another day in paradise.
Yep. Any questions with the Dodger raindrops?
Can you figure out how to scare the snow away and how to stop the rain?
Not yet.
All right, working on it.
I'm working on it.
Working on
Yeah.
it.
It's work in progress.
Very good times.
No questions or anything? Anything else you want to bring up?
Nope, we're hopefully, we're in the process of getting a bucket truck, hopefully get the bridge lights done between raindrops as well. But everything is going fairly well.
Is the sidewalk program completed, or
What's that?
the sidewalk, you have the,
Yes, that came by accident today.
oh, okay.
The second page.
Okay.
But yes, the sidewalk.
He
is
sent
complete.
the follow-up email on that.
Yep.
Okay, what I'm going to do is,
Oh, yeah, I did
I'm
see-
going to go
I read that one
to item number 8.
Yes.
And while you're here, there was a letter from Mrs. and Mr. Milano. Over the past couple of years, spectators parking for Walton Central School fall and spring sports seasons have become a problem and potential danger. People park right on the corner of Maple Street and Guild Avenue. Also, parking is currently permitted on both sides of Guild, Cherry, and Bush Avenue. We believe that if any type of emergency vehicles will be needed there in the streets during one of these sporting events, it would be difficult, if not impossible, given these conditions. Therefore, we are requesting, in the interest of public safety, that 2 things are done. First, one side street parking on Guild, Cherry, and Bush be instituted. Second, that signs be posted, no parking here at the corner, on all corners of Maple and side streets. It is our hope that we can work with the village to alleviate the potential dangerous situation as soon as possible. Thank you for consideration, Mr. and Mrs. Milano. So, we've had a conversation with you about this. I had suggested that Butch take a look and maybe we put up signs, no parking from here at the corner, that might alleviate part of the problem. If the concern was that vehicles cannot come in, if you have to go back, but at least 20 feet from the corner, right?
Right.
Then that would leave enough room for the vehicles to make that turn and swing if they had to. Well, you would know, you're in the fire department, right? And I would think unless someone else wants to do anything further at this particular time, that would be it. Because to do it on both sides, we'd have to have a public law done, we'd have to have a meeting, you know, all that kind of stuff. So maybe it would be good to try this, because this is only those two times of season where sporting events go. And if for some reason it doesn't work, then we could do a little bit more. But that's my suggestion, but you know, whatever anybody else thinks.
And what I researched was you need at least 22 foot wide to have 2 lanes of traffic. Then you want 8 feet for a parking space. So actually none of that street over there is wide enough to have any parking. So, but like he said, you'd have to do a locomotion and buy a bunch of signs and.
So it's just a thought that maybe to start out with, to try that and see how that works. I don't know how everybody feels about it.
I think it makes sense to try the less extreme
Yeah.
option first.
You wanna-
Well, it doesn't keep us from doing more later, you know.
Exactly.
stuff,
Right.
Yeah.
Got
Now,
to
do we
have
need,
a motion on that?
Yeah?
is it enforceable?
Yes. With the sign
With
up,
the 20 feet's the
yeah.
enforceable.
No parking here to corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I make a motion, we put the signs up,
Just those 2,
just those two.
on each side.
Yeah.
Where are we
And
putting them?
no parking here to corner on Maple and Guild.
Maple and Guild. Yes.
That's the entrance gate, near the entrance gate of this. of this-
Across, yeah,
Across,
across from the
across.
entrance gate.
Van Loan's property, that corner?
Yeah,
Yep,
Yep.
yep.
just goes around back over to Cherry. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, we'll come back to it.
So you made the motion, who seconded?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, carried.
And I'm sorry, can you just clarify where that is? It's just on the 2 streets, you're not including Cherry?
Just on, we're gonna do just on Guild and Maple.
Right,
Guild
so
and
you can-
Maple.
So you can make the turn, it's not bottleneck right there at the stop sign.
So it's right there at that intersection for the, okay, thank you.
Okay, that's, I think while you were here, we could take care of both things at once, okay? All right, thank you.
Thanks, Bud.
Jason?
Hi there.
Hi.
Any questions on my report?
I can't wait for your report that says no more problems with rags.
You'll be waiting a while.
Yeah, we waited a long time, and hold your breath.
Yeah. This month's occurrence was the first in my time there, so I imagine that will just be more of that as time goes on. So, other than the rags, I do have 2 requests tonight. We're requesting that the board authorize us to buy a pump for the screw press at a cost of $1,122. That is an 80% village cost, and we do have money in the budget for that.
I'll make the motion.
Need a second on that?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
The second request is for us to hire a company called W2O to replace the impellers and wear plates on both return activated sludge pumps. That's at a cost of $13,125, and that's also an 80% village cost. There also is money in the budget for this. We'll work with the grit screw. Once the grit screw is replaced, we'll schedule this work after so we can try to remove the grit out of the plant before it gets to it. The grit has attributed to some of the wear on these pumps. So
And how about the rags? They have something to do with that too?
the rags, yes, rags, and these RAS pumps are one of them that we pull apart every week. So we're taking these things apart every week and pulling the rags out of them. So this also is a rag-related cost.
Yeah, well, the public needs to know that. I want to bring this up every time we
Yep.
do this, because this is money that we're dishing out, and when prices go up to do things, and the consumer gets upset, I want to know why. Because people are putting their rags into the toilet and just not, and we've been telling you for months now, this is going to lead to a much, much bigger price for us. They have to get some kind of screen or something. We're talking like almost $1 million. That's a lot of money. And it could be really taken care of if you just not throw the rags down the toilet, put them in the disposal, but whatever, but that's not there.
When you're saying rags, you mean wipes.
The wipes,
So that
they're right.
people understand that.
Yeah,
The
disposable-
wipes that they think are harmless, that say are flushable, are the wipes that are causing the problem.
They say
and
disposable
they're
wipes on them, but they're not
They're not
disposable,
disposable.
they're not disposable wipes.
They're not flushable. They're just because it goes down the toilet doesn't mean it should.
Right.
You know, you can, dental floss. We were talking tonight about dental floss. That's another thing. You know, anything like that, really. Toilet paper goes down the toilet. Anything that comes out of your body, other than that, it should be going in a garbage can because it's costing big money to combat it.
Okay.
Well, it's not just one place you're pulling them out of. You got 2 or 3 pump areas that you're yanking them out of now.
Right, yeah, it's constant, and it's, if we have a backup in the system someplace, we know what it is, and we have to figure out a way to get to it.
When
And
this first came up, it was either you or Bill, I think, talked about a lawsuit in California that the state had against the Johnson & Johnson.
New York
whoever
City,
makes the most.
New York City was involved in it too. I don't know whatever came of it.
No, I didn't realize New York State had a piece of it.
New York City did.
Okay, well, that would make
Because
sense.
they actually have, I think they budget close to $1 million a year just to combat this in their own plants. Each year. So, they have people hired, that's their job for 8 hours a day, they just do this. So, the bigger city plants, Sacramento is another one. It's an industry-wide issue, and it's a very simple solution to fix it, just throw it in the garbage
That's the sort of thing
can.
you look at as a career.
Right.
Not me.
Did we make a motion for that?
Yes,
Yeah,
for
we're
the
done.
first one.
Oh, I need a second then. Oh, no, we need to make a motion on this one, right?
On the second one.
Yeah, need a motion. Need a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
That's all I have tonight.
That was enough.
Yeah. Maybe next time it'll be more city stuff.
I hope.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jason.
Bill?
Bye.
Thank you very much.
Right. Hi.
Couple of quick things to touch base on. The grit screw project at the wastewater treatment plant. It's taking longer to get the equipment than we wanted, but it is scheduled for delivery on Friday. We do have a payment request from the contractor for work completed to date, really associated with the demo of the old equipment and some bypass piping and such. We would ask the board consider the payment from Vactory Construction in the amount of $28,072.50, which is part of their contract.
Make that motion.
Need a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
The other item there was some work that we authorized Vactory to do at the board meeting last month. Some concrete repairs on one of the existing tanks. That work has been completed. We're not looking to pay it out of the grit screw project because that is a finance specifically for the grit screw. So the tank repairs would be paid out of the O&M budget under building maintenance.
How did they repair that, Bill? Do you know?
Yeah, there's a couple of pictures in the back.
Right, is it just cement, or is there some kind of stabilizer in there, or?
Yeah, I mean, you open up, there's cracks in the concrete, so they kind of open them up and chisel them out, and then it's an epoxy material that gets injected into the crack, and it expands. Not like spray foam like you might put in a crack in your house or something, but it expands into the concrete itself to stop the water from bleeding through.
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried.
I&I is something we've talked about for some time, but I do bring it up again. And I know Jason's brought it up a number of times too, is just high flows at the plant, and the weather certainly contributed to that. But we are seeing higher flows coming into the plant, which ends up being a cost thing. Groundwater that's leaking into the mains, and sump pumps and other things like that, where water's coming into the sewer system that shouldn't be coming in, ends up being water that has to be treated at the plant, and it costs money to pump it, it costs money to put chemical to it and treat it. So You know, it's something that we continuously look at for ways to try to address it. And I know there's been some repairs made, but you know, it's something that needs to be looked at, you know, going forward as well. That's kind of the only things I have to ask for tonight. The rest, there's a couple of updates. The water grant application was submitted to EFC this late summer. We anticipate in the next month or so, usually between Thanksgiving and Christmas, awards are announced there. Shepherd Street is still kind of with DASNY at the moment. The CWC project, we are working with the property owners on that. We met with one of the property owners 2 weeks ago, and we're drafting the report, the flood study, to go to CWC. You know, at this time, so we'll send it to CWC, and then once they accept, you know, the proposals that are in that report, that can be used as a basis for the property owners to try to get funding to implement the things that are in the report, whether it be, you know, raising utilities out of the basement or things like that. So we'll look at kind of a few different options for the different properties, but then once the report, that's the basis for applying again to CWC to implement things to try to make the facilities more resilient, so when the flood comes you can respond a little quicker. I think that's all I have. The rest of you some attachments.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Thank you, Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
Well, I guess Steve's here and the chief will be here. He's just a little bit late, so we'll start with the trustee reports. Anything on
Yeah, the project has begun on Water Street. They're trying to connect the green space to the river, and it's more entailed than it looks. I mean, it looks like they're digging holes, but there's a lot of old utilities under there, and the ground has to be refounded. Hopefully it's going to work, and we won't have a problem like we have been.
Yeah, I was there today. That's what I was going to talk about. We were there today with DEP, DEC, all the acronyms came down. We took a couple pictures. You're going to see Water Street, they're going to be digging. They got a year to finish everything. They're going to be digging through the whole winter. Lefevre has the contract. They're going to probably lower Water Street, not from the concrete with the driveway, the road goes down. It's going to go 6 feet down and level right down to the river. So there's a lot of dirt. There's thousands and thousands of yards they're taking out. Some is good fill that we're taking up to the quarry. Some is partially, I don't want to say contaminated, but it's like not what they like the best. We're taking that up to the wastewater, the landfill. And there's other stuff we're going to be using in the town on some roads that need some on the side of the roads we're going to be using. So you'll be seeing them for a while, all winter long digging. We're going to be also doing like a big catch basin right by where the Veterans Plaza is. And that portion of Water Street is going to be shut down for almost a month. You'll be able to go in where they have the municipal parking, that area there, but where Family Dollar is and McDonald's is, that's going to be shut down for a while. Because they're going to dig under the road, they're going to put a big catch basin. This way I won't have to hear people saying about the swimming pool in Veterans Plaza or the ice skating rink this winter in Veterans Plaza. All the water will drain. We've been doing this, trying to attempt this project now for 8 years. It's always been one thing after another, and we finally got them started today, and it was really felt good. The Flood Commission, which I'm a part of, we're the first flood commission that started in the state of New York. And now there's a lot of them all around the state. It's a really good thing. We've secured through DEP and the city and other acronyms about $6 or $7 million so far on work that we've done in those streams and the tributaries. And we've come a long ways. This is, we always hit one stumbling block after another. Either the gas lines or something else, the sewer we had to make sure was okay. So finally we passed all those hurdles. All the dirt has been looked at. We know what can be stayed, what has to move. And by next summer, you'll probably see a tremendous difference down there. And once we're done with all the digging, then we're going to get input from the community. What are we going to do now? We're looking to do a boat launch down there, and we're looking to do different things to make it look good so people can go down and sit. We could have music down there. We could do a lot of things. And we're going to tie it into Delaware Street. Hopefully we can have some good things down there. So as the progress is made, I'll let everybody know. But you're going to see every day there's gonna be at least 30 or 40 truckloads of big trucks going out, up to 100 every day. So you're gonna see a lot of trucks coming in and out of there. But it's a good thing, because they're doing this, this is, like I said, a project for 8 years we finally got. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump on you, but I was gonna.
That was the big topic on this report, so.
Yeah, and it was good. And if you go down the Water Street, you'll see where the fence is down there, there's a piece of plywood down there with a picture of what's going on and how it's gonna look. So whenever you just stop and get out and take a look at it, you'll see. It's a good project. It's gonna be good for the whole community once we get this done.
They're gonna move that too, right? They're gonna put that in the pavilion so people can see it away from the construction at signs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Anything else you want to say other than that?
That was it.
I'm sorry. Nothing? Steve, you?
Nope. No,
The Theater Preservation Association met on October 9th. They're going to be re-securing the floor in the lobby. It wasn't done well or properly or didn't work. So there's a number of tiles that are loosening up. We're going to be re-securing that, and with a totally different approach that will work this time. They're installing, this won't matter to people, but they're installing a service sink in one of the closets upstairs where they have the coffee house, and they've been carrying coffee burns up and down with hot water, and it's hard work and dangerous, so that'll make a big difference. And there are a couple projects they're beginning that people will notice. Is the next thing they want to take on is renovating the balcony of the theater. They'll be putting in new carpeting, new seats, and possibly table and chairs on the wings of the balcony. I mean, they're really upscaling this place tremendously while keeping the, the original flavor of the place. And then the green room, the dressing room, they're going to take the paneling off and paint it to put new carpeting and possibly some new furniture and just really update the dressing room significantly. And their next meeting at the theater is November 13th at 4:30.
That was my next question. I'm going to be there. I wanted to go. I want to make sure what time it was. 11:13 at 4:30. Is that it?
That's it.
Thank you, Dave. Mayor's report. Well, I was going to talk about two things that I already brought up, so that's good. Water Street. We met with, Jody and I sat down with Good Energy Company. That's the company that's looking to come in. There's been a new organization set up between the towns and the villages where now we can purchase gas and electric from other than NICEC, that we're not just stuck. And Good Energy was a company that's going to help us figure out if we could save money. So they came in and explained to me and Jody about it. If this works out, which it looks like most of the places they go, we could save, I don't want to put down an exact number, but 8 or 10% on our bill. That's considerable. Once we do it, once the municipality, they're going to go out to every citizen in the village and allow them to do the same thing that we're doing, so we can all save money on it, which I think will be a big savings, especially you get some big heating bills. They could be really good. NICEC would still be the carrier, like they always are, but this other company would be the supplier. So it could potentially be a nice break for everybody in the village, for us in the village.
Ballpark time frame on when they'd be getting to people in the village?
What do you say, about a year? About a year, roughly about a year before we get everything done. It's because we got to sign a lot of forms, we have to have meetings, and we got to get a local law put in, and a lot of things we have to do. But they're here, they came up from the city to sit down with us to get started on it. And it's just something relatively new, and it's good. I think it's a great thing for all of us to save. Anything that saves us money, I think, is a good thing. The other thing, the library, we don't have it. I have a letter here from William B. Ogden Library. I want to read this. Dear Ed, as I am sure you're aware, the last few years have been very busy for the William B. Ogden Library during the construction season. In 2014, the Board of Directors of our library voted to implement a 5-year plan to rehabilitate the structure and grounds. We have completed new entrance sidewalks and steps on both the Gardner and North Street sides of the library. In 2016, we repointed and cleaned all stone elevations of the building, as well as 3 chimneys. This year, we are in the process of installing a new cedar roof, similar to the one installed in 1897. Nearly all this work has been facilitated by grants from state aid for library construction in accordance with guidelines from the State Historical Preservation Office. These grants pay about for 75% of the construction costs, with the balance being paid for by library and through grants. In August, we submitted a grant request to rehabilitate all windows and doors, install new period outdoor lampposts, and install new bluestone sidewalk along North Street from the corner of Gardner to North to the post office sidewalk, and later costing $22,500. The latter costing, excuse me. We have been informed that there will be funding shortfall for this project due primarily to the increase in requests from other 4 county library members. Therefore, we plan to submit a grant request for the North Street sidewalk construction to the George A. and Margaret Me Charitable Foundation. It is our understanding that the Village of Walton is willing to contribute $1,500 towards the sidewalk project. We need your approval of this project in order to submit our grant request. Your letter confirming your agreement to allow us to proceed will be included with the grant request. Thank you for your consideration, your continued cooperation and support. Sincerely, Roby Jean Rice. I spoke to Butch earlier about it. You want to explain how this started?
A while back, they started doing the sidewalk, and we won't do bluestone, so that's why they did the 50/50, and they figured it would be $1,500 is about the cost, what it costs for the concrete. So
they already measured it. What?
In June, the board approved to give them $1,125 towards that sidewalk for the concrete.
So 1,000.
Which would be what it would have cost the village.
That's it. So it's not 15. It's
right, yes, what she has there.
12. How much you have?
$1,125.
So then, I guess that we should send them something, tell them that we had approved in June that amount of money, and we will give them a check for that amount. So we don't need to make another motion then, right?
No.
We didn't cut a check in June?
No, we don't. We usually reimburse people.
Right, okay, right.
Will that be sufficient, or do they need the $1,500 for the grant?
It doesn't say that. They were saying here that they thought that we agreed to 1,500. I think there was just a misunderstanding of what the thing. We can just say, have Jody send them a thing, or I'll send them a letter saying that the amount that we approved in June was $1,125, and that's what we'll give you a check for.
Okay.
Is that?
Excuse me.
Is that to re-level the bluestone sidewalk?
I think it's probably whatever they got going on there. Yeah, we won't be involved with it at all.
Because the restoration, society will give them $1,000, not much. But if, they want to re-level it, because that's so Walton, that beautiful stone walkway.
Okay.
That's all we got left.
Yeah, okay.
Are they asking in the letter that they need us to give permission to begin the project? Is that part of the agreement?
They want us to give them the money because they're going to submit for the grant. They need to know how much.
For the grant.
Right. So we don't have to...
It says, maybe I'm splitting hairs, it said we need your approval of this project in order to submit our grant request.
We've already done that
And that was what we...
With the motion before.
back in June.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So no, we don't have to take any.
No. So no action needed then. Okay, I guess that's all I have. I see the chief is here. Chief, could you come up, please?
Yeah, well, I made it. It's a start.
Thank you.
You're welcome. How's everybody tonight?
Good, and yourself?
Another day in paradise.
Another day in paradise. Best kind of Walton day.
Best kind of Walton day ever.
Best kind of Walton day ever. I just have a couple things. First, the vest grant is up again. This time we need vests for Oliver, Brian, and Kaylee. Kaylee's will be 100% reimbursement. There's a slight cost for Brian and Oliver's because the state has already provided vests to them once or more than once, and once they've done that, they don't provide full funding. We did budget for that, and It's going to be close, but I think we're going to come in within budget, or very nearly there. So I need permission to go ahead and have them order that.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
One other thing, this is a good thing. On the 20th, every now and then we get good. Every now and then I get to say good things. On the 20th of last month, Devin and Freddie were noticed by the Delaware County Firefighters Association at their annual meeting for the first responders of the year for the entire county. And that's quite a an award to receive. And that was in regards to the accident on County 21. The department will be following up with some other stuff with that. It was supposed to be tonight and wasn't quite ready.
Okay.
So
For next meeting.
Okay.
yeah, next meeting. Yes. The only other thing one other thing that came up here just within the last couple of weeks, our indirect water heater at the police department went out, to say the least. Went out with this kind of spectacular. Ended up being an expensive adventure. It was a little over $800. Fortunately, the village crew came in and did the install for us, and they saved us quite a bit of money on that, I'm sure. So that's back up and running. The only other thing I have is I have a request for Devin to go to instructor development course in Delhi. It's on January 3rd, 4th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th. There is a cost of $250. Currently within the department, Rich Kelly and myself are the only two instructors. We have a couple part-time people that we can never use for our instructors. I was the last officer to go to that course, so I'd really like to see him go to it. It's the basic course, and it gives him the ability to go on to further advanced courses, which we can certainly use, like firearms, mental health, radar, defensive
Yeah, he's still young. He's a young guy, so he's got plenty of time with us. Hopefully. God bless you.
Thank you.
Right. So I'd like permission if I could have him go to
I'll
that.
make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, carried.
And Rich said he emailed everybody, so everybody did get the report, right?
Yep.
Okay,
Thank
that's all
you.
I got.
Thank you.
All righty, thank you.
I'll need the influence.
Yeah, I'll send it to you tomorrow, Joe.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you. Okay, number 6 is the village election notice. You're gonna take that?
I need board approval to send a legal notice to the Walton Reporter for the next village election, which will be March 19th from noon to 9 p.m. And it just needs to tell that the mayor's seat is up, which is a 2-year term. 2 trustee seats are up for 2-year terms, and there's 1 trustee seat up for a 1-year term. So I just need a motion.
I'll make a motion to send it.
Whose seat is up for 1 year? Oh,
Dave was appointed when Joe got supervisor.
right.
So we have a motion, right? We need a
Yes.
second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
What would happen if we didn't? We just go on for...
Yeah, right. Well, just so the public knows, now's a chance for everybody that
Fast, quick.
wants to make changes to get up and they have ideas and to get out of the peanut gallery and come up and get petitions and run. This is it. This is why we have a democracy. So I'm hoping to see people come up and run. Next, planning board member resignation.
Did you want to read that?
Dear fellow board members, I am writing this letter to inform you of my decision to resign as a member of the village planning board effective immediately. Unfortunately, due to circumstances with my mother's failing health and my other community ventures, time does not permit me to sit on this board. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be part of such a dedicated team. I look forward to hearing of the continued success of this group. Sincerely, Laura Casamano. So, that was the village planning board. So, if anybody wants to volunteer or interested, know somebody that would like to be on the village planning board, then please let us know, because we need somebody. And they meet once a month? Once a
The
month.
first Thursday.
First Thursday of every month. So. We took care of number 8. Number 9 is the Bruce Street. You want to?
We need to set address for that little driveway.
What?
We need to set addresses for that driveway.
Yeah, well, you wanted, you're there, so you want,
I'm here for Bruce Street.
I know that you are, so.
We're in the house that was built in 1860.
Yeah, I know, there's 3 houses, right there? 3. If you do the GPS and run it out, it does not, because we thought Bruce Street Extension, but it doesn't come up that. When we did it, we checked with the fire department, the emergency service, it comes up as Clark Street. From
Clark Street on the tax map.
On the tax map, and that's how it comes up. So we were thinking to leave it like that. Because if you put a different address on Bruce Street, what's gonna, God forbid you have a fire or anything, when they come down, the numbers are all gonna be off, it's gonna be confusion, and if it takes an extra 3 or 4 minutes, we're gonna have a problem.
Let me add, let's start at the beginning. What is the proposal that's being made? Because we didn't hear anything. I sort of got the information from the post office, paying the water bill.
This is for emergency services, right, we're trying to do?
Yeah, Delaware County Emergency Services sent this to us, saying that they wanted to call it 66 Bruce Street. But they don't set addresses in the village. That's up to us.
That's up to us.
So that's what you
and if
guys
you put
do.
66 Bruce Street, that's gonna be, it's not proper way to come up with the address, you know, it's gonna be off, and it may cause a problem. And,
Well, there's a lot of problems, but that's why we're here.
yeah, so that's why we thought if it's in the GPS and on the maps as Clark, if we left it as Clark, it would make it a little bit easier, they know exactly where to go, if they had to, God forbid they had to go there.
But it can't be Clark Street because it's not improved.
It's not a street.
It's not a street, right, it's not a street, right? It's
Private
not-
drive.
Just an address.
It's just an address, but I mean, Clark Extension, we can call it, we don't have to call it a street.
No,
They-
No,
you
no.
have to change everything, you change our address.
We're talking about major changes.
It'd have to become a street,
We can't.
and that's
not
30
big
feet.
enough.
It's not big enough to become a street, we can't do that.
Well, you've got a code,
What?
there's a code.
Is the code?
Yeah, need the code of changing a street. That's a private road. You can't make the road into a Clark Street.
Mayor Baldy, a while back, had a request, asking, we pay a lot of taxes up there, how about sending a plow up there in the winter? He did that. It was a period of time. I guess Joe Sutter didn't like the idea, and he started a commotion over it, and this letter was sent to us. About you can't change the property.
Sit, have a seat here.
I don't want to be in the limelight.
You're there now.
Anyway,
Oh,
yeah,
it's easier.
my side note on there is,
This was back in 2007.
yeah,
Just so everybody hears.
yeah, the backside has the certification.
It says, dear village property owner, under Village of Walton Code, section 43-12, it is prohibited for the village to expend funds on private property. The code reads as follow: no public money or labor shall be expended by the trustees or street commissioner of the village upon any so-called street, alley, or lane until the same shall have been duly laid out and recorded as public highway or street in the village. Therefore, this letter will serve as written notification that the village is not allowed to remove snow or maintain your driveway in any capacity, since it does not meet the criteria and definition of a public highway or street. Should you have any questions, please feel to contact Virginia Odell, Joe Sutter, Superintendent, Dave Merzick, Village Attorney.
All they were doing is sending a plow up there 2 or 3 times a year. There was no maintenance. We do our own maintenance, because it's a private driveway. So, what is being proposed here, you want to do what? Number each house separately?
They have to have, the emergency service has to have an address. They want to make sure they have an address where to go. And the way I'm understanding, this address is with your address. What's your address now?
70 Bruce Street.
Right.
which is exactly in the right location.
Are all of the houses 70 Bruce Street?
All, yeah, the two behind us are also. This is the original farmhouse, 1860.
So all three
All that was-
houses are 70 Bruce Street,
That's correct.
but they're all three separate houses.
Three separate houses.
Three separate families live there. So how, when you get your
Tax
mail, how does you get your mail? What does it say? You
Well,
just-
the
you just-
postman remembers from day to day.
Oh.
There are names inside the mailbox.
On the
What?
box.
The mail, the name on the box.
Oh, they're all 70, but the mail, the box will have a different name.
There's three separate boxes, right?
And your preference is to leave it the way it is? Am I
Yeah,
understanding
exactly. We've been here
It's gonna
50
cost
years.
a lot of money to make a street,
There's no problem.
not for us.
Yeah, no, we're
So
not
I
gonna
don't,
make
I
it
don't
a
know why
street.
this is being brought, other than they can't find the place. Well, if, you know, if the house is on fire, you'll see it on the hill there.
Oh, it's terrible.
Well, you get a point there. I can't argue with you on that one, you know.
Yeah, it's the one over there that's on fire.
So they're just saying that the addresses doesn't come up.
It doesn't come up on the GPS. The only thing I'm saying that is this, if they wanted to change it to 66 Bruce, it doesn't
It
exist.
doesn't come up on my GPS in the car. It says,
Clark Street.
get on Bruce Street and then we'll pick up from there.
So there's no 66 doesn't come up on the...
Now,
It shows Clark Street is what that is on your GPS.
is there a 66? And I heard there was a 66, 68, and then 70?
No.
Is there a
You had
66 and
different numbers,
68?
right?
There's a
What-
68 and a 72 that are on Bruce Street.
68. and
68 is the little barn,
One
the
below.
carriage house?
No, it's the property below that,
Oh,
the
okay.
house.
Okay, because Lynn Court across the road is 69.
Harold?
We're 70, and I think
72 is,
Really?
Beck
The
is
link
probably
was
71.
is that, oh yeah, yeah.
You know the house
Yeah,
72?
yeah.
That pile is still there, by the way. That's another issue,
Yeah,
and I won't bring it up tonight.
okay. But you did, but you won't, I know, I get it. All right, so,
we just need addresses for those two houses.
and
that are like that.
it can't stay, your address, you got 70?
Bruce.
We're
This is
70, all three back there are 70.
They don't want two of the other houses have to have, how do we, if they don't want to change their address, how do we change it? How do we,
I mean, 100 years ago, there was no firemen, but I can see why the
can we
firemen...
do 70 A, B, and C, yeah.
If you get into legal documents, don't you have to change deeds if you start changing addresses? I mean, credit cards, licenses.
Well, I don't know. I gotta speak to our attorney about it. I guess I don't know how to, I don't know how, that's not my thing. I
Well,
don't know how.
You probably know Gary McCravy?
Yeah, I know him.
Okay. His son just bought the house next to us, which you're gonna be calling 68, I think. And I guess the house at the end was just purchased, some name I heard was McGowan. I don't know who it is. They used to be Travis. His father, Gary, Brian's father, Gary, I was speaking to him about it. He says that if the only way you can call that Clark Street is you'd have to do an improvement. And you need a 30-foot wide road, which will never exist up there.
We
Without
don't have
taking
enough
over
there, yeah.
property, and now you're getting into eminent domain.
Yeah, right, yeah, no, I understand.
And, you know, it's just not going to work. If it worked for 50 years, I don't see why it's a problem today. Because you're asking for a lot of trouble doing a change.
So I don't know, do we speak to the attorney about it and have him get a hold of emergency services? And I mean, I don't know what to do. I don't, all I can do is say that you came down, the three of you, and none of you want to change your address, you want to leave it the way it
No,
is.
not changing my address.
That's what I said. You're
Yeah.
coming down that you do not
I'm
want
not
to.
changing my deed and everything. No, I'm
Bill
not.
just brought up on his,
We've been there
on
and,
his map thing here, it comes up as 70 Bruce Street 1, 70 Bruce Street 2, 70 Bruce Street
yes.
3
Really?
That's fine, yeah.
on his.
Well, if you look up Zillow, yeah, you'll get
you know what?
property 1, 2,
So,
and 3, but you won't see us because it's all trees.
We're just gonna have to make sure
Can't see
emergency
property.
services hasn't changed. That's why it comes up on yours.
Yeah, we have to,
Mine
then we'll have to
comes up
tell them,
Clark
okay,
Street.
we'll tell them that this is how it comes up.
Yeah.
Okay, then
I
if it
drove
comes up that
by
way,
there,
then the
my
problem's solved.
outcome says Clark Street.
This whole thing originated with emergency services?
Yes.
This whole deal.
Yeah.
Because it's not, somebody wanted their road plowed.
Oh, don't.
All right, we'll talk to them about it, we're not gonna
All right,
change it.
because, but the other thing is this, I mean, you were gonna have this discussion tonight, was there gonna be a vote on this or something?
No, we didn't need some ideas of what to do. We wouldn't do
Oh,
things
okay,
without
'cause-
telling you about it, of course not,
Well,
no.
yeah, we would be a little insulted.
No, of course not, we can't do them probably, I'll let you know.
No, we have to address it because they sent us the letter.
No, I understand, but
We just gotta talk about it, and
usually
see
we
what,
would talk to all to the people who live.
and we would've talked to you, we wouldn't have made no decision without talking to you.
All
Of course
right.
not, it should affect your property. All right, we're gonna give them a call, if anything that does come up on the GPS, we'll tell them. Thank you for coming down. All right, we're gonna go into executive session, we got some personnel issues that we have to discuss. I would like to bring up, just for the report, just one quick little thing. We have had, over the past year, many discussions about digesters. We've had our heads chopped off and everything, and about why we're doing it, how terrible it is, and all this. Jody and Misty went to NICOM up in Lake Placid, and it was funny because one of the big things that they talked about up in Lake George was digesters. It's the greatest thing in the world. Why don't we do it? And I just thought it was amazing how we've been trying to do this for a long time, and then we got slammed, but yet they're saying this is one of the best things. And I got this article that was handed to me by a local people who live here about farmers, and it's a 3-page article about digester, how there's a different type of digester they can do for farming, and he said it's the best thing they've ever did. Matter of fact, they're going to put another one on this property. So just so people know, digesters aren't a bad thing. They're really a good thing.
What is that?
An anaerobic digester, it takes
Slowly I turn.
Slowly,
Step by step.
it takes waste and it turns it into energy. That's basically what it does. And
We vote yes.
and it can save the municipality a bunch of money. That's why it costs to do it, but over the long term, it can save a lot of money. That's all. All right, I got my 30 seconds of fame. I'll let it go for now. So we need a motion to go into executive session.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Carried.